So some of the more interesting aspects of the work that I'm engaged in right now is actively collaborating with a number of different types of scientists, astrophysicists, ecologists, GIS specialists, looking at how all of our respective experiences and training can be used to contextualize what's going on the planet. That I think a lot of times, if you're trained in something, you want to tell that one story. And your hope is that that one story would be as compelling for other people as it has been for you. And if that doesn't work, then you're kind of confused. You hope that wow, I just explained to you that, the global temperature increase is going to be this much, and how could you not care? And what I'm finding is that by going back and forth and really engaging in a process of understanding how humans relate to stories, that we're able to really start to work beyond just our own self-image as artists or educators or scientists, and start getting to a much deeper level to understand that people are deeply embedded within their own moral structures, that we're all highly moral individuals, that we all like to think that we're doing the right thing for whatever reason, and however off I might think you are, or however off you might think I am, that we really do have deeply embedded values. And the more we can identify how to communicate at that level of values, to really ask people, what are you doing? Where are you going? Where are we going? And what's the goal of anything that we're engaged in? And I ask this of my scientific colleagues all the time. Why do you want to communicate that? Well, get beyond just you want people to become, amateur climate scientists. Get beyond the idea that someone would get the information that you have and they would magically do the right thing. Why do you think they should care? And if you're going to lay this kind of heavy information on them, what are you doing to provide for them an inspiring, way to engage in the world that addresses the problem? And a lot of what we're focused on right now is identifying those projects on the planet that are looking at natural systems, that are understanding how humans have these incredible problem-solving capacities, and working within all of these synergies within the global ecosystems so that we can tell their stories. Because we don't need to lead with the data. It's not compelling. I mean, you can freak people out, you can get them completely scared, but unless people see what other human beings are doing to address the problems, and I'm talking beyond politics, this is more than just going out and voting for the right person. This is really being inspired by the types of projects that we've been identifying through the Buckminster-Fuller Challenge that are extraordinarily creative, that they are looking at the big picture, the whole system, and they're coming up with approaches that are so far beyond just, saving a little bit of electricity or driving a little bit less. And by doing that as individuals, by understanding that and then telling the stories within the context of all the data, within the context of all the scientific visualizations, but letting the story of what other people are doing be the driving factor, we're finding that people are much more responsive. I mean, wouldn't you be? That it's just the type of thing that people want to know, what can we do? And if all you tell them to do is well, use less power or drive less, that's not actually calling on their own innate brilliance, their own experiences. And we need to kind of ramp it up. We got to step up our challenges to other human beings, that it's within us to be addressing these challenges in really innovative and collaborative ways. But a lot of times, all we're being told is that we should feel a little bit more guilty, or we should feel bad because, we're not exactly doing the right things, when, in fact, it's very difficult for us to do the right thing because we're in environments that have been set up based on a whole set of assumptions that we could forever burn all the fossil fuels we wanted, that we would forever have all the energy we need. And so instead of asking people just to change their behaviors. We need to be asking people to think about how can we reform the entire environment of modern industrial society? What can we be doing to really bring our own actions and artifacts and infrastructures into, you know, a greater synchrony with ecosystems, so that we're learning from all of these natural systems. And those are precisely the stories that I'm interested in telling now, and that's very much what we're focused on. And the more we do this, and the more I see people respond to it, the more I realize that the assumption that just helping people to understand the data is just the first step. It's, you know, it's the baby step to getting people towards really engaging in not only comprehending these challenges, but really facing up to them. Wow. And with that, to help people to consider the impacts of their actions. We're lacking right now, I think, a lot of the cultural mechanisms that have been embedded within a number of cultures from around the world for thousands of generations, where people are encouraged to think about 7 generations out, where people speak for future generations. And we desperately need that capacity right now. And I think we're totally capable of it. Everybody I know cares about future generations, but it's just not built in to the infrastructure of our culture at the moment. And game technologies, visualization technologies, they're very powerful tools for helping people to think beyond the scales of just our immediate experience and of our quarterly profits. And as we can creatively engage in dialogue using these tools, I think it's a very important technique for helping people to really leverage their own imaginations.